Greetings, salutations, and good now. I'm astrologer Kevis Major, doing it major, and in this video we're going to be exploring the dark side of Pisces. Yes, the dark side of Pisces, or the Pisces shadow. Now, Pisces, the mutable water sign, ruled by Neptune and also Jupiter. Neptune, I mean, Pisces is known or celebrated for their emotional depth and diversity, their creativity, and just their boundless compassion and empathy. But every sign has a dark side or has a shadow. And so the darker aspects of Pisces stem from, their sensitivity, their imagination, and their intuition, which could be, you know, their greatest assets, but also a pitfall when left unchecked or unbalanced. So we're gonna do a deep dive and explore the Pisces dark side or the shadow traits. We're gonna look at elements, modalities, dignities, and examine how the traits could manifest in relationships, family, business, and other aspects of life. No, the element of Pisces is water. And so Pisces feel everything deeply, could be the slightest situation, they're going to take it to heart, they're going to take it deeply. And so Pisces usually have difficulties distinguishing their feelings from, external factors, and they're easily, you know, disturbed or aroused um, emotionally. Escapism is another big theme for the Pisces. Water flowing naturally allows Pisces to drift into their imagination. Just imagine the Pisces archetype or influence as a massive ocean of water. And so you could just drift in this water and go here, there, and anywhere. The mutable energy, making them adaptable to, just flow. But, in the shadow state, or in the dark side, that could be the Pisces just flowing off into la la land, flowing off into fantasies, flowing off into, procrastinating or substance use, or, you know, instant gratification, hedonism, anything that kind of distracts them from their current situation. Boundlessness is another one of, Pisces negative traits, because again the element of water lacks form. You need earth to really shape the water. So Pisces kind of has no boundaries. um they risk being, overly dependent on others and other things. And they allow themselves to be drained by, just toxic relationships. They allow themselves to get screwed over and used and manipulated and deceived just because of their gullibility. Let's talk about the modality. Pisces are mutable. Mutable meaning changeable, adaptable, flexible, versatile, but also indecisive, unsure. And so Pisces can, adapt easily. But again, this adaptability could make it difficult for Pisces to just make a solid decision and stand their ground and exude, great leadership qualities. Pisces, they have, the tendency to avoid conflict. Again, the escapism element, being mutable makes them flexible, adaptable, and so you could see if conflict is coming their way, they could bob and weave and slip out of the way and just avoid, confrontations often at their expense. Another trick about the Pisces, I guess, is because Mercury is in the detriment, which we'll talk about later, is that they also avoid conflict or confrontation, or resolving conflict and confrontation by miscommunication, having outbursts or arguing or just kind of purposely muddying the logic and the rationale and using that as a tactic to, avoid having mature conversations. Again, Pisces being mutable, flexible, changeable, adaptable, just echoes lack of direction. The mutable modality, desires to just go with the flow, and can change at any point in time. And so this could make Pisces kind of lack focus or just struggle with, consistency. When it comes to the dignities, Pisces face a few challenges in, their dark side. And so Venus is exalted in Pisces, making, Pisces romantics. Um, and they have the capacity to love unconditionally. Again, just imagine Pisces as just this vast ocean of water, yeah? And imagine this vast ocean of water just being their love and their unbounded, unconditional love. Um, and so the shadow aspect of this is just over idealism, over romanticizing people, places, things, circumstances, situations, and a higher level of delusionment when reality falls short. Mercury also falls in Pisces. Mercury deals with, you know, logical thinking, being precise, having a certain level of clarity, communicating sufficiently. And so if Mercury falls here, then, communication is not the best. Confusion, miscommunication, or the tendency to just, I don't know, get lost in vague ideas or emotions. Again, I've experienced this from Pisces where, okay, Mercury falls, so they're not the best at, communicating logically, but they kind of use that as a scapegoat, you know what I'm saying? And they use that as a trick to avoid just being mature. The rulership of Neptune brings in a great, dreamy, intuitive influence. Neptune being all about idealism, best wishes, a brighter future, you know, fantasies and things that we wish we could do, things that we wish we could attain. And so without, the grounding element, the practicality to actually attain these things, we Pisces could just be stuck in a loop of wanting, um, to attain certain things, but never making the actions to do it. So these illusions just play out as delusions because you just say that you want the thing, but never act upon getting the thing. There's a lot of difficult aspects to the Pisces, which we're going to dive into at this moment. Dark side of Pisces. Now, Virgo opposes Pisces, and so the Virgo energy, the analytical skills, the practical nature is just opposite to the Pisces, who have more dreamy tendencies. And so the shadow lies, you know, when Pisces lack the critical thinking, or becoming overcritical of themselves. You know what I mean? So because, just being analytical and practical isn't something natural, when they do it, they kind of overexert themselves, or they have to put a lot of energy into it. And so this could be a bit, chaotic for the Pisces, especially when they're trying to be analytical towards themselves. Again, because a Pisces is ruled by Neptune, illusions, fantasy, dreamy, best wishes, Venus exalted, romanticizing, Neptune, fate, hope, brighter side of life, abundant. Pisces feel like they are the shits. And, when they are mature enough to accept that they are not, then again, that could really, really grind their gears. All right. Deep introspection is something that the Pisces, the Pisces kind of shies away from. The square signs being the other mutable signs, Sagittarius and Gemini. Sagittarius bluntness can clash with Pisces sensitivity. Again, Pisces are highly emotional and they take everything to heart, take everything personally, even if it doesn't pertain to them. It could be a family member, it could be one of their belongings, it could just be something that they care about, and they feel like an assault has been made on something that they love or have an attachment to. Like, they'll take that seriously. And so, because they're so sensitive, you know the Sagittarius, expansive, explosive, a fiery energy could just rub a Pisces the wrong way. Also, the Gemini, flighty, intellectual, type of witty attitude could frustrate um frustrate the Pisces. Geminis are also like ear-headed, quite mutable, maybe prone to being chatterboxes or talking a lot or something. So Pisces are going to struggle to just keep up with the Gemini's mental agility. The trine signs, which are Cancer and Scorpio, trines are usually a gift in astrology, but not all gifts are good gifts. Some gifts give you the ability to crash out. Now, again, while the trines usually are harmonious, Cancer and Scorpio lend to the Pisces emotional intensity and sensitivity. Scorpio being quite intense on its own, and Cancer being the mother sign, um, could just make the Pisces moody, quite possessive, protective, or just emotionally entangled. So these are signs that complement the Piscean energy, but you know left unbalanced or ungrounded, could just be way too much for the Pisces. Just imagine, again, we are talking about Pisces as this vast ocean of water, yeah, and then attached to this large ocean of water is this huge ass glacier, you know, which would be maybe the Scorpio energy. And then on top of the huge glacier is a waterfall, right? And so you could see how all of this water, while the Pisces is just a vast big ocean and you could just go all around. No, you got to watch out for the glaciers. I'm saying, some intense big boulders in the water, and then water falling from the sky, Cancer just pouring down on top of you. Like, you got to look out. So just trying to make an example, maybe not the best example. um, we have the sextile signs, which are Taurus and Capricorn. These signs really help the Piscean energy if Pisces is open to the help. Um, the grounded earth signs can help Pisces stabilize, but again, just the practical, rigid, monotonous type of lifestyle just kind of frustrates Pisces idealism, free, free flowing, spontaneous attitude, outlook, causing Pisces to feel like trapped to a box then or something like that. So Pisces, even though yes, that's what they need, they don't really like it. All right, so moving forward into some more dark or negative shadow traits of the Pisces. When it comes to home or family life, again, the Pisces tend or could be, not always, but could be oversensitive, overwhelmingly sensitive. And because, they are masters of miscommunication, this could just make things crazy at home. Pisces heightened emotional receptibility can lead to just absorbing other people's mood, absorbing other people's stress and tensions, and you know, leaving the Pisces feeling drained and emotionally unstable. And also, again, like I've seen it personally, personal example, because of the miscommunication, like all of this, you know, tension and stress could cause them to have like outbursts, um and just audible belts of frustration, let's put it that way. And so whether they handle the conflict head on or they avoid the conflict, just because of how sensitive they are, this could just leave a lot of turmoil in the home, um prone to leaving things unresolved or just acting out passive aggressively. Is it's Yeah, I guess if you've been through it with a Pisces, then you'll know that is not cool. It's not cool to have situations unresolved every time with the Pisces, every single time, and the same situations recurring over and over and over again. Um, we already talked about escapism in the home. Um, if things could get stressful in the home, the Pisces could want to retreat into isolation, fantasy, unhealthy habits, smoking, drinking, procrastinating, just doing anything not to address the root issue. Again, in the home, Pisces could lack boundaries. Now, all of this happens in different ways. I can't give all the examples in the world. I mean, I'm kind of going based on my personal experience with Pisces again. But Pisces kind of struggle to say no to family members or to the family demands. And so often overextending or overexerting themselves to the point of, resenting or burnout, or, I mean, just not being able to say no and set a boundary and set disciplines if they're like the breadwinner or the man or woman of the house. Is like, okay, you can't tell your kids no, you can't tell your mom no, you can't, you know what I mean? So it's like anybody could do whatever they want, and then the Pisces end up being frustrated and then having outbursts, and they can't even communicate well, and so more emotional chaos in the home. Um, Pisces are also quite selfless, and if you merge not having boundaries with just wanting to serve others, again, they would take on a lot of additional responsibilities and sacrifice themselves to serve others, and then end up blaming others why they're not happy, but they get satisfaction from helping others. And so that's another one of Pisces negative traits, or the shadow side, is that victim mentality. You want to do something for somebody. It was your idea to sacrifice your time, your energy to do something, and then you feel underappreciated. You blame them for wasting your time, but it was your idea to invest your time in the first place. Um, in relation to business and career, the dark side of Pisces, again, Pisces' mutable nature makes them adaptable, flexible, versatile, but again, indecisive. So lacking focus when it comes to their career. A Pisces is highly creative, you know, and they're good with people because they have a high emotional um, intelligence, but they just struggle with focus, struggle with being consistent, um, prone to again fall into escapism, um, fall into complacency, and just abandon things, you know, midway. Over idealism is another thing. Like Pisces dream big. Pisces got big dreams, but tend to fail to ground their visions in practical steps, in practicality, in organization, in structure, in time, being timely. And so Pisces could have unrealistic expectations, which could lead to disappointments in professional settings. I mean, unless they're doing exactly what they love to do, most likely, creating, serving, helping, um, and a bunch of other stuff. Like, I just can't keep listing stuff off of my head. Pisces could be prone to avoiding responsibility. We talk heavily about escapism, and so under stress, under and they're already sensitive, already quite moody and emotional. So under stress, the Pisces could, avoid accountability, um, and just choose to, I guess, delegate tasks or delegate task or pass the buck or burden onto somebody else, or just procrastinate instead of just handling what they gotta handle. Um, again, Pisces are very trusting when it comes to close confidants and friends. And so this trusting nature makes them malleable, makes them vulnerable, makes them manipulatable. I'm trying to pronounce the word correctly. In, the workplace, in business, in career, um, and they could be easily exploited just because of their trusting nature. Also, they're not very, very, aggressive, even though they could be like psychos low key. um, again, just because Pisces are sensitive, emotional, without the necessary grounding, yeah, just under pressure, high stakes, they could just be emotionally overwhelmed, leading them to retreat, withdraw, or just run away from a situation. All right, when it comes to love and relationships, oh my days, Pisces. Venus being exalted here makes them over romanticize, partners. They tend to idealize, their significant other, overlooking any red flags or just the toxic behaviors. And when the reality starts or doesn't match up with their fantasy, then they could feel deeply disillusioned, or they could try to romanticize the situation or look at the brighter side, or just have lots and lots of hope and faith that things, you know, could get better, or the nightmare could turn into the dream again without any plan of action. Just hope. In relationships, Pisces could lose themselves. Again, Jupiter, all about expansion, Venus being exalted here. Venus, Venus, love, sacrifice, service being expanded by the Jupiterian, influence. Pisces, Pisces are givers, and so that giving nature could lead them to just prioritize their partner over themselves, prioritize their partner's need over themselves. And it doesn't necessarily have to be their partner, it could be their loved ones, because it could be a situation where, hey, maybe the Pisces has kids, and then there's another relationship with a person who's not the kid's father, and there's a lot of love, more unconditional love for their kids than, what I'm saying, maybe some other partner or something like this. You know what I mean? So again, that could even create chaos in relationships if you are, you know, loving your children more than your partner, especially if your partner isn't the children's, you know, biological parent, and you already don't have boundaries, you already can't say no, you already overexert yourself for the kids or something like this. And so yeah, it could just be a chaotic emotional space. um Again, Pisces are heavily dependent. I don't even want to say codependent. Pisces are dependent, when they're in their dark side, the shadow side. um, and so very clingy, very reliant, um, and just very needy, whether spiritually, emotionally, or physically. They just seem to always be in need or want of something. They always need help. Imagine the most helpful sign who's willing to sacrifice their whole existence to the service of others. Always need help themselves. Right? When unbalanced, Pisces could use all of their emotional sensitivity as a tool to manipulate the hell out of somebody, to just guilt their partner. Like, and sometimes it's unintentional, it would be unintentional. Like the Pisces would, so okay, something would happen, the Pisces would miscommunicate, and then because they're so clingy and needy and reliant on their partner, they need to make up. And so they find some emotional tool to reel the person back in. And it just happens perfectly all the time. Like, it just lines up for the Pisces. I don't know why. When it comes to relationship, again, escapism through fantasy or even addiction, Pisces may turn to fantasy or even substance abuse to cope with relationships, to cope with, you know, just any type of hardship. So Pisces need to be particularly careful with any type of substance, you know what I'm saying? Especially stuff that are like super addictive. Like, you don't need, like Pisces, you don't need to be doing that at all. All right, so in conclusion, the Pisces dark side or the shadow side of the Pisces is deeply intertwined, with their strengths. Again, their sensitivity, imagination, compassion, empathy, unconditional love, boundlessness, when unbalanced, could just make Pisces one of the most flunked out signs. Yeah? Hazard to themselves. Not so much others, but mainly for themselves. Um, they could be quite dangerous to others too, because again, fantasies, they could be having crazy fantasies about doing crazy things, but we don't even want to get into like the ultra dark side, you know what I'm saying? because yeah, it could even get a lot darker than now. But anyway, Pisces need it takes a lot more energy, emotional, spiritual, even physical energy for Pisces to introspect and, you know, practice self-awareness. And so without, you know, the self-awareness, without balancing, you know, without the earth energy, yeah, the Pisces are just like flunked. Recognizing their patterns and their habits and, you know, their shadow aspects is the first part for them to, you know, really make a change. That's why astrology is important, because if you're into astrology, then you would know your shadow side. um yeah, Pisces dark side, you know. If you found this helpful, useful, informative, drop a like, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about the dark side of the Pisces. Major farewell until we meet or greet again. I'm astrologer Kevis Major. Astrology After Dark. Doing it major.